Alright, so boom, check it. Now ain't that how every great story start out? Now why would mine be any different? These are the Chronicles of Mike Murphy.
These are the Chronicles of Mike Murphy with your narrator, comedian Mike Murphy. Welcome back to another episode. So boom, check it. This one is going back to July 8th, 2008. I only know the exact day because it was my homegirl Lisa's birthday when this happened. But this episode, I'm going to tell y'all how I almost lost my life on a motorcycle, all because a girl didn't like the way I was talking to her cousin. All right, so boom, check it, right? A week prior to this date, I'm riding through the hood on my bike. I run into some shorty. I don't know, we exchanging, dialogue. And she's like, oh, take me for a ride on a bike. I'm like, I can't right now. I got to go, something. We exchanged numbers. She was all right too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was definitely like, oh, what's up with this? But that having a motorcycle is an easy way to get chicks because they like riding on the bikes, most of them. So you can be like, yo, like, want to go for a ride? Oh, yeah, here, take my number. I'll pick you up. That's how I used to do it, right? So me and her exchanged numbers or whatever. And I'm like, yo, I'm off on Tuesday, which I had one day off a week. And it was a Tuesday. It was the worst day, but whatever. So I'm like, we can go Tuesday and, we'll ride. She's like, cool. So during the conversation leading up to that, she tells me she wants to go to the movies. I'm like, yeah, we can go to the movies or whatever. Be like a date. She's like, oh, I like that. Now, she had told me at some point that one of her fantasies was to do it in the movies. So I'm thinking like, oh, is that what she's trying to tell me? Because I'm definitely with that. So I pick a movie theater I know nobody's going to be at 5 o'clock in the evening on a Tuesday. So I pick a movie theater called Waterworks in Pittsburgh. And so the day comes around, I go to pick her up, I pull up, I go to knock on the door, she answers the door, she's like, oh, you looking nice? Okay, let me just grab my stuff, I'll be right out. I'm like, cool. So another girl comes out, which ends up being her cousin. So she's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. My name is Mike. She's like, I know. I'm like, okay, she told you about me? She's like, what? I'm like, I'm saying, you said you know my name is Mike. I said, what, your cousin told you about me? She was like, yo, you're weird as hell. Like, you trying to act like you don't know me? I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't know you. She's like, wow. She do one of those. Wow, really? I'm like, yo, I never seen you a day in my life. Shorty, what you talking about? She's like, damn, that's how you feel? I'm like, yo, what's your name again? She says it. I'm like, yeah, I don't know you. She was like, okay, bet. Fuck it. I'm just going to tell my cousin you on some weird shit. I'm like, yo, what? So she goes in. I guess she tells her cousin whatever. They come out like, yo, you don't know my cousin? I'm like, no. She's like, she said y'all had sex before. I'm like, man, I ain't never had sex with her. Now at this point, I'm wild confused because I'm like, what is Shorty talking about? I never seen her a day in my life. And she was like, we had sex. I'm like, man, no, we didn't. I said, you know what? Okay, maybe I'm making a mistake. Maybe we did. And I have no clue what you're talking about. I said, refresh my memory on how we met, what happened, or whatever. And if you're right, I'll admit that you're right. I'm like, but I'm telling you right now, I don't think I've ever seen you in my life. I think you got me mistaken for someone else. She was like, you drive a Cranberry Mercedes, you work at the group home on Negley? I'm like, yeah. A lot of people know that though. So I'm like, that ain't nothing. Tell me how I met you. She's like, I used to get off the bus and I used to walk past the group home every night going home. And one night you saw me and was flirting with me and I gave you my number. And then about a couple of days later, I got off the bus and was walking by and said, yo, can you come out? I want to see you before I go home. You came out, we talked. And then we went in the back of where your car was parked and we did it in your car. And I was like, oh shit, that's you? Damn, that's crazy. Now y'all probably wondering like, how you forget that? That was just a couple of months ago. So I ain't gonna lie. Shorty was definitely an adult. She was of age, but she was giving me like runaway teenager vibes, right? And I didn't like that. She wasn't a runaway. She wasn't a teenager. She was an adult, but that's the vibe she gave me. And when we did it in the car, she was wild experienced. I think that might have only been my third time ever in life doing it. And she knew all, no, I'm gonna put my leg right here, it's easier. All this stuff she knew how to do. I'm like, oh, she's a backseat warrior. She be getting cracked in the back seat all crazy. Like, what do you be doing that you got this much skill in car sex? I didn't like it. It was a turnoff. And after that, she never called me again. I never called her. So that was the end of it. I didn't even know her name. I had her saved in my phone like group home shorty, like something like that, or bus stop shorty. Like I didn't have her name in there. That's why when she told me that, I didn't know it. So her cousin's like, oh, you're weird as hell. You're not about to be fucking me and my cousin, nigga. Go ahead, lame ass nigga. She's talking crazy. And I'm like, all right, fuck y'all hoes. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I jump on a bike. Woo, 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 woo. I rev and take off or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Showing off. I'm still going to the movie because I bought the tickets already. I want to see this shit. So I'm on my way to the movie theater. I'm a block away from the movies. I'm at a red light. There's a car in front of me. Then it's me. Nobody behind me. The light turns green. The car doesn't go. So I'm like, I hit the horn like, yo, what's up? Car still don't go. I glance in my mirror and I see a fire truck coming from behind us. Like, it's in that lane. It should be going this way, but it's coming down. Then I look over even more to the left and I see a cop car and a lady in another, like there must have been like a small accident. And now that's what the fire truck is coming for. So that's why the car's not moving. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I put the bike in neutral and I'm like leaning on like the handlebars or the gas tank like this, just waiting for the car to take off. All of a sudden, bang! I just get smashed from behind. Pause. I had to say it like that, but I had the extra pause that because that was crazy. I get mangled, right? It was an 88 Monte Carlo. Them joints is like steel cans. You know what I'm saying? That thing hit me 40 miles an hour. Didn't never even break. Wow! So it hits me onto the trunk of the car in front of me. My helmet smashes the glass. It's like kind of like lodged in the glass. I got to pull my head back a little bit. I got the wind knocked out of me. I'm like, oh, I'm hurting. So I kind of turn around on the trunk and now I'm sitting on the trunk. I'm like, damn. I take off the helmet. I'm like, dude kind of like gets out the car a little bit. I'm like, yo, you ain't see me stopped? He says, why was you stopped at a green light? Hey, yo. He said this shit like I was in the wrong. I'm like, what, nigga? I jump off the car. Now I'm ready to engage in combat. I'm trying to neutralize the enemy immediately. And the cop that was sitting over there saw the whole thing. He was already walking over. He's like, no, I got it. He goes over, starts barking on homie, going off. Long story short, dude had no license, no registration, no insurance, and he was drunk. Smashed me. Pause. That was wow. I want to start the video over, but I'm not. He does what he does. They arrest him. There's a hospital. I can look at the hospital from where we're at. The ambulance comes. They take me to the hospital. I ain't have a scratch on me. I didn't get to see the movie. And I kept thinking to myself, like, I know them shorties, if they would have saw this, they would have got a good laugh at that. But what it made me really think was, why did that shorty get so mad? Like me and her had a whole relationship. Like I beat one time and that was it. Why would you tell your cousin we used to talk and we used to mess around? Then I had that shit. This is like a different story, but it's not really, it ties in. I had somebody else do that to me years later. I got this girl I'm dealing with. She's pregnant. We about to have a kid. You know what I mean? We're together. One day she tells me, why you ain't ever tell me you used to talk to my sister? I'm like, what? First of all, I don't even know your sister. Like, so even if I did talk to your sister, you never introduced me to no sister. She shows me the girl. I'm like, I don't know her. Again, I never seen her a day in my life. I think it's because I used to get my head cracked, in football and I got blown up in the war. So that's why my memory's off. But I'm like, I never seen her a day in my life. She's like, well, she said y'all used to talk. I'm like, nah, now I need to confront your sister. So we go to the wave pool one day and her sister comes to meet us out there. I say, yo, why would you tell your sister, me and you used to talk? I don't even know you. She's like, we did used to talk. I'm like, tell me the situation, just like I did the other shorty. She was like, one time I was with my friend Shantae and she was coming over to your house to see your man, Bevy. And while they was in the room doing whatever, me and you was just in the living room kind of like catching up, talking or whatever. While they did that, I'm like, did we give each other like the exchange numbers or not? She's like, nah, we just talk right then and there. I'm like, I'm keeping a cordial conversation with you and you tell your sister who's having my baby that me and you used to mess around? She's like, well, it was kind of like, like you was being nice with me. You was kind of flirting. I'm like, man, bitch, get the fuck out of here, dog. I wanted to snap on her. And my girl looking at her sister like, bitch, you was a hating ass bitch. Like, you really try to hate seeing I got a good dude and try to tell me you used to talk to him, lying and shit. Don't do that shit, ladies. But anyways, that's a story about how I almost got killed on a motorcycle, all because the shorty ain't like how I was talking to her cousin. Yo, that's my cousin Eileen, partner. I don't like how you doing her. That's how it happened, dog. Hey, these are the Chronicles of Mike Murphy, man. I'll see y'all later.